CryptoNews Global, the show where we try to instill financial literacy to everyone around the world. And of course, we talk a lot about the bitty. On today's show, of course, we're going to go through our market watch and Bitcoin technical analysis. Then we are going to talk about Bitcoin seeing the largest ETF inflows since January, and it's become the 5th largest asset in the world. Later, Bitcoin supply on exchanges is falling due to public company purchases, says Fidelity. Bitcoin supply shock incoming is what I'm saying. All this and so much more on today's show. Welcome, folks, to CryptoNews Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. Today is April 24th, 2025. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe while you're here. They are 100% free to do, and it will definitely help the algorithms. Getting right into the Bitcoin technical analysis. Bitcoin was just over 94,300 and has backed up a tiny bit to 93,800, but still a very good sign. 95,000 is going to be the next test that we need to overcome. Once we get over that and sustain it, then we can very easily get over 100, which would be the next hurdle. And then after that, back into price discovery, everybody. Max Kaiser's calling for $850,000 per the biddy this halving cycle. Larry Sphinkster is calling, said, I would not be surprised if the Bitcoin price went over 700,000 this cycle. And this is, the BlackRock CEO, Larry Fink. So he should know a thing or two about money and Bitcoin. Huge Bitcoin holder, $11 trillion in assets under management with BlackRock. Looking at Solana, up 2.5%, $153. Ethereum down 0.75%. Boohoo, $17.73. XRP break even, $2.20. Sui was kicking butt in the past couple days, up 14% today to $3.34. Doge up 4%, 18 cents. Looking at the crypto bubbles, here is Sui that we spoke of, and if we just look at the week, up 60% of the week, ranked number 11. So looking into getting into what I would call the heavy hitter zone. Injective up 8%, one that I like. The supply is smaller than a lot of these ish coins, jumping up. It looks like it hasn't moved today, but 73 ranked overall. Bonk up 11%. STX back on the move, up 15%. So that's stacks. Ondo up 7%. 90+% in the green. Algorand up 6%. Another one of my wild cards that I definitely buy the dip on. Doge we talked about, up 4%. Polygon up 12%. And where its market cap is still at 45. Zooming out to the weekly, we see Sui kicking butt, up 57%. Trump, the big winner on the week, 61% up. Fetch up 40%. Fortcoin up 42%. Even Pepe up 22% for the week. Zooming out to the weekly, Fartcoin, the big winner, over 100%, 105% for the week. Sui, this is for the month. Sui up 35% for the month. XCN up 90% for the month. Total hash rate in terahashes here, we've got 90,000 tera. It's not 90,000, it's like 900 billion terahashes per second is what this equates to. So there's the actual number. That would be 858 million terahashes per second. Yes, let me just double check that. Indeed. So we see it's down a little bit, and we've talked about this before. The BitcoinPrice is kind of jumping up to meet it. The price generally is going to follow the hash rate. So the hash rate was spiking a couple weeks ago, and now, like clockwork, the Bitty following behind, also spiking up. The hash rate, of course, is in blue here, and the Bitty price is in black. Global M2 money supply. This is going back from 2013, but if we kind of just zoom in to the past 6 months or so, about 1 year, let's get into that. We'll see that just here, getting into mid-January, mid-February, this metric is always lagging, so they don't have the newest money supply information. But as of January 20th, the M2 money supply spiked quite a bit. And it's pretty well known that the Bitcoin price, about 2 months after that, will follow what happens in the M2 money supply. So as we see the Bitcoin price now in the past few days also jumping, if we just refresh so we can get a good view of the M2 money supply for the past 15 years, you'll see that the Bitcoin price and the M2 money supply follow each other very, very closely, and it continues here. This is from the top 21 central banks in the world. So the M2 money supply is basically how much money is available. So how much fiat money is available. So when they print more money, there's more money available. Generally and historically, the more money that gets printed, the higher the Bitcoin price goes. Looking at the total market cap for Bitcoin, we've got it at $1.86 trillion. Ethereum, 213 billion. XRP, 128 bill. Solana, 79 billion. Doge, 27 billion. Cardano, 25 billion. Tron, 23 billion. Let's find Sui. Sui, number 11. They gained about over 2-3 billion since yesterday. Currently just under 11 billion bucks market cap. Let's refresh the total market cap. We are currently at $2.89 trillion for the entire industry, with Bitcoin holding 64.37% of that, Ethereum 7.4%, and XRP 4.5% of the total crypto market cap. Crypto Fear and Greed Index brings us at a 60 in neutral today. Yesterday was a 63 in greed. Last week a 33 in fear. There are approximately 1,084 days left until the next Bitcoin halving in 2028, with 156,157 blocks left to mine until then. Total, this is assets by market cap globally. We've got gold. Bitcoin was up to number 5 at one point today. Gold, as usual, sitting up top, 22.5 trillion bucks. Apple, 3.1 trillion. Microsoft, 2.8 trillion. Nvidia, 2.6. Amazon, 1.9. Google, 1.9. Silver, 1.89. Bitcoin, 1.863. Saudi Aramco, way down there, 200 billion. Lower at 1.6 trillion and Meta 1.3 trillion. You can currently get 1,065 Satoshis for 1 fiat US dollar. U.S. debt clock keeps on ticking. The current U.S. national debt is 36,767 billion. That equals to 107,448 per U.S. citizen, or 323,049 per U.S. taxpayer. Doge has saved the U.S. $356 billion and counting, which equals to $3,170 per taxpayer. That so he saved, Doge saved $70 per taxpayer since yesterday, approximately, or really exactly $65 per taxpayer. And that's kind of the rate it's been going, between $50 and $100 a day that they've been saving. So, stop burning his cars, people, because the Democrats and the bloody media now are causing this guy, instead of doing this job at Doge, which he is doing a great job, regardless if people are losing their jobs in the government. Guys, if there's fluff, if there's a job where nobody's doing their job, or if it's not needed anymore, why would we as taxpayers continue to pay them, right? They're getting rid of the fluff. $356 billion. And again, they saved, if there's 2 people in your house, they saved you, $65 each since yesterday, $130. If there's, 4 people, they saved your household $260 since yesterday. So anyway, he's already said, Musk has said he's going to step down and focus on his company, which is reeling due to multiple things. A lot of it, sadly, was because of the media's perception of this whole Doge thing. And, the Democrats just can't let anything go. They don't have anything good to really base their ideology on. Another thing they're still basing it on is a M13 member who was not given his due process and sent to an El Salvadorian prison, and they're freaking out. Big stories. The guy in Maryland, I think he's the governor, went down there to meet this guy, the prisoner, and wouldn't leave until he met him. So he did meet him, and then they had, pina coladas and the beautiful sunshine there. Meanwhile, a illegal immigrant killed a lady who had 5 kids in Maryland, but not once did he go see them, right, in his own state. So imagine, but he spent taxpayers' money to go down to El Salvador, and all that's going to happen with this guy, this prisoner, is he's going to get his due process. And I wish they would just speed it up and get this story over with, because the Democrats just will not let this stupidity go. All that's going to happen is he's going to go back to the States for 1 day. He's going to be in court for 1 day. He's going to get his due process, and then they're going to send him back to El Salvador. So I just don't get it. Now, what they don't tell you about this guy is his wife has put in multiple claims for him beating him, right? So we got a wife-beating criminal, illegal immigrant, who also was charged with human trafficking, and also charged with some drug possessions and beating his wife, right? And they have kids too, right? Nothing was said about him doing anything to the kids, but definitely the wife multiple times said he beat her. And we're treating this guy like some savior, and get your things straight, Democrats. You have nothing to go by here. You have no platform. Just let it go and let the country actually develop in a good way. Now, for the tariffs, Trump didn't go about this the right way. He really, instead of saying, I'm going to tariff the world, if he really wanted to tariff the world, maybe he should have went ahead and have done it. 1%, let's say, right? If what he really wanted to do was negotiate tariffs with each country individually, well, that's what he's achieving, but he could have also done that a little differently. What he did get was all the countries came to him and said, we want to negotiate, right? And what's going to end up happening is there's going to be fair trade and maybe even free trade with lots of countries around the world now. Now, with respect to China, if indeed he wanted to, if the ultimate goal here was to put tariffs on China, well, this also wasn't that greatly thought out, because places like Europe, places like Asian countries, Vietnam, I'm sure there's lots of countries in the Far East. Instead of them, fine, they're trying to make deals with the U.S., but they're also trying to make deals with China now. So instead of all the countries coming, we're going to do great business with the States. Instead, they're like, well, what's our alternative? Well, China is wooing us. Let's make a deal with them. So they could have actually lost some of the deals because of that. Regardless, I think in the next few months, the next coming years, we're going to really see the economy and the biddy pump huge, because good things are going to happen. Once these interest rates come lower, we're going to see Bitcoin flying to the moon, folks. This Doge thing, stop attacking Elon. He is actually doing a great job. There's nothing I can say that they have done wrong. They might have made a mistake here or there, but they live up to it, and they come out and say, oh yeah, this was a mistake. Let's fix this. So not bad for a bunch of nerds, right? Saving $356 billion and $3,170 each person in 3 months' time. That's my point of view for this whole Elon thing. I don't know why people are burning their cars. A guy today at work brought me for a ride in his Tesla. We had to go do a job, and beautiful car. Knocked me back in my seat a few times. With the, it was a Model Y. Literally, like, acceleration. Parked itself. Huge trunk. Lots of space. Comfortable. Fast. And right now, there's no other car maker that is making a more made in USA automobile than Tesla. So I don't know what everybody's freaking out about. Problem is, Dems don't like it when they lose. They're sore losers. This is really what's happening, and the media doesn't portray it that way. The media portrays it like the Republicans are evil, and using words like Hitler, and name to me where exactly these people are the same. It's kind of disgusting. But that's what you get when you watch CNN, I suppose, and half the country's watching CNN, unfortunately, and this is what you get. I would suggest you find some good alternate new media on the web, and you'll get a whole new perspective on what's going on with the country. With the biddy, they have seen the largest ETF inflows since January, and earlier today became the 5th largest asset in the world. Bitcoin has spent the majority of the past 24 hours on a notable rally that saw it price peak at an intraday high of 94,300. It just hit it too, like literally 15 minutes ago, the same 94.3. This rally marks an interesting change from the tight consolidation range between 80 and 85 that had defined Bitcoin's trajectory through much of April. Behind this breakout lies a significant uptick in institutional activity through spot Bitcoin ETFs, which recorded their highest daily inflows since January. Interestingly, this inflow surge has helped push Bitcoin into the top 5 largest assets globally, surpassing Alphabet, which is Google, silver, and Amazon in market capitalization. Spot Bitcoin ETFs see largest inflows since January, according to data from Value. US-based spot Bitcoin ETFs raked in 936 million in net inflows on April 22nd alone, marking their best single-day performance since January 17th, when it registered 1.08 billion. Wednesday, April 23rd, also witnessed similar performance, registering inflows of 916 million. BlackRock's iShares Trust led the way with a staggering 643 million in inflows, followed by ARK 21 shares with 129 million. Furthermore, spot Bitcoin ETFs are now on 4 days of consecutive inflows of $100 million or more. The last time such happened was in the last week of January. These inflows into spot Bitcoin ETFs follow a weeks-long dry spell into ETF activity, which saw many traders question the sustainability of institutional interest. Nonetheless, the timing of these inflows couldn't be more impactful. Bitcoin's price surged in tandem with recent ETF activity, showing the strong effect these ETFs have come to have on the spot price of the Bitty. So, as mentioned before, Bitcoin surpassed Amazon, Google to become the fifth largest asset, but that was earlier today. If we go back to this, we see that these four are pretty close to each other, right? Amazon, Google, silver, Bitcoin. Bitcoin was in position 5 for quite some time. Then it dropped back to 8, when the price kind of tanked after these tariffs. And then it's been playing with this up and down. So earlier today, it was ahead of Amazon. As we see, folks, we saw the price go from, 85 to 92, 93 in what? A day and a half, right? So this should give people hope that this is the kind of thing that Bitcoin does. It goes sideways, 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 and then suddenly, all in one day, the price jumps, 8,000, 5,000, 10,000, God candle. And I'm hoping that one day it will do what I have dubbed as the creator candle, which is $100,000 in a day. And if you think about it, you're probably thinking this guy's a little off, but consider this. When Bitcoin gets to $1 million, and it will, I don't know if it's going to be this cycle. Look, Larry Fink said, don't be surprised if it gets to $700,000. Max Kaiser is predicting 850. Okay, let's say whether it gets to $1 million this cycle or next cycle, when the price is $1 million, if the price change is 10% in one day, there's $100,000, right? So this creator candle that, again, I dubbed the creator candle. All right, you heard it here first. You heard it here months ago. Everybody else is calling it the Omega candle, 100,000 in one day. To me, that doesn't make sense. All right, the creator candle goes along with the God candle, right? The God, the creator. Regardless, a 10% hike in price, if the prices of the Bitty is $1 million and it goes up 10%, there's $100,000 in a day. So this creator candle definitely is possible. For now, 10 grand in a day, still pretty damn good, folks. Let's face it. So let's hope we see more days with that like that. But as we've seen, this can change so fast in a day and a half, up $8,000. So if we go another, in a day and a half, up $10,000, that brings us already to 102, 103, over 100, very close to being back into price discovery of 109 and change. So this could happen really fast. We just need some good news. Right now, the only news in the financial markets, period, nobody cares about financial reports anymore, it seems. They just care about the stupid tariffs. What's going to happen with the tariffs? It's just a media frenzy with this tariff thing. From the beginning, I've been saying this is a negotiating tactic, and lo and behold, it's become a negotiating tactic, hasn't it? So what's going to happen next is some announcements are going to be made that, yes, we made a fantastic deal with, wherever, right? Europe or Guatemala or Vietnam or Singapore or something like that is going to come out. And that will probably spike all financial markets, including the Bitcoin. Then what's going to happen is it might take a while, but some good news is going to come out from China saying, yes, we have agreed to make a deal and the tariffs are going to be even less than what they were before. Something like this. And the markets are going to boom. So I know when the prices were lower, we were recommending buying the dip. At least I bought the dip. So if I was a betting man, I would continue to average, dollar cost average slowly into the biddy. SUI looks like it's ready to pump. XRP still hasn't done its thing. Solana, I could see Solana price getting into the thousands when the Bitcoin price, when the real good news kind of starts coming in. So it's not too late. The institutional buyers keep buying nonstop. So just keep that in mind. And if you see news about, institutions buying Bitcoin, like, for example, we do see that, right? We see Strategy every week, MicroStrategy is buying more Bitcoin. So these guys aren't letting up. There's other companies that are continually buying Bitcoin too. The Bitcoin supply on exchanges is falling due to public company purchases, says Fidelity. Bitcoin reserves on cryptocurrency exchanges have dropped to their lowest level in more than 6 years as publicly traded companies ramp up their accumulation of the digital asset following the U.S. presidential election, according to Fidelity DigitalAssets. We've seen the Bitcoin supply on exchanges drop due to public company purchases, something we anticipate accelerating in the near future. Exactly what I was saying. Fidelity reported on the social platform X. Fidelity said the supply of Bitcoin on exchanges had fallen to roughly 2.6 million Bitcoin, the lowest since November 2018. More than 425,000 Bitcoin have moved off exchanges since November, a trend often viewed as a signal of long-term investment rather than short-term trading. Yeah, so people are buying it and they're hodling, right? Over the same period, publicly traded companies acquired nearly 350,000 Bitcoin, Fidelity said. Fidelity DigitalAssets is a subsidiary of Fidelity Investments, the $6 trillion asset manager headquartered in Boston. The Fidelity Digital subsidiary was established in 2018, long before cryptocurrency was considered an institutional asset class. So these guys are big too, right? Fidelity, the $6 trillion company, not quite BlackRock, half of BlackRock, I suppose. But, they're saying that the institutional buying is not letting up, and the Bitcoin available on the exchange is drying up. So one day, and maybe one day soon, this roughly 2.6 million Bitcoin on the exchange is going to end up being, 0.2 million Bitcoin on the exchange. So like 200,000. Once that happens, this supply shock is definitely incoming, folks. Like, we're talking a huge boom, because once there's none left, you can effectively ask whatever you want for your Bitcoin. Okay, so, what I tell to young people, I know it's expensive, $90,000 per Bitcoin, let's face it, but if you kind of dollar cost average over time, make a goal of 0.1 Bitcoin. If you can get to 0.1 Bitcoin, you've already done pretty well, and you are already in the 1 percentile, right? So if you own any investments, you're already up there. Most people don't own jack all. So don't keep yourself in that category. Be the person that saves, be the person that looks toward the future and not just today. If you start making more money, don't just start flipping into, oh great, I'm making, $1,000 more a month. I'm going to start spending $1,000. And no. You start making $1,000 more a month, you should be, of course, treating yourself a little bit, right? But, 800 of that should go to investments. This will accelerate your retirement. This will accelerate the things you really want to do. Folks, there's over $900 trillion in assets around the world, so money is abundant. Money is everywhere. It is time that's scarce. We say this every day. Spend less money than you earn so you keep in the green. And as mentioned, if you start making more money, start saving more money and start saving when you're young. Start investing when you're young, and hopefully you can retire when you're 40 or 45. If you have a great idea, even if you're not ready, start your idea today. This is what the successful people do. They go out, they try. They might fail, but they try again. But they definitely start today. They don't keep waiting for tomorrow till everything's perfect, because it's never going to be perfect. Hopefully you found this stream enjoyable, folks. If you did, again, please share, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next stream. Thanks so much for joining.